3, 2, 1, and welcome back to episode 5 of Chasing the Racing.
You almost forgot there, didn't you? You almost forgot.
With the legend that is Dom The Bomb Herbertson.
And across from me is the world's sexiest maths teacher. You all know him by now. It's Chrissy the Rousset Rouse.
So we've got a great show lined up for you today. We've actually got a pre-recording of our first guest rider on the pod.
That should have been last week, but we've eventually nailed him down, which is great.
And along with that, we'll have a big crack about our week and just have a quick summary of what's been in the news. And I think Dom's got a big announcement to make today, which we'll come to in a second.
Because we're just a couple of teasers, aren't we?
So first, what's this week entailed? What you been up to?
I'm not sure I want to go first, to be fair, because mine are full of bit of partying on.
Yeah, so down at the Northeast dinner and dance, was it at the weekend?
I take it you've heard then. You've totally heard, haven't you? Aye, there was much indulgement of the old alcohol on the weekend, which was great. No, the Northeast Club, which we've both a part of, we love the club to bits, but obviously, like every other club across the northeast. Sorry, I'm so included of where I live. No, across the country. Sorry, you've got so many clubs, and they have awards nights, which are brilliant. And I self-invited myself along for this one, and obviously while I was there, it was great to find out, along with a lovely lad called Michael Kirkup. He's the northeast answer to Ed Sheeran. He's a little bit girthier, and he's got more crack than him, as I can imagine. And I came third place in sidecarring.
Hey, fantastic. Do you know what? I didn't really... I know you have mentioned it in the past that you've been in the sidecar, but I didn't realise you've actually raced in the sidecar this year, pasturing Michael Kirkup. So whereabouts did you race?
Well, the first time I met him was Croft. Well, actually, the first time I ever got in a sidecar was with a lad called Nicky Jukes, all the way from Yorkshire, down in Malton there. We did a thing called... It was called the Sidecar Bash. Now, if that's not highlighting danger zones, I don't know what is. It's called the Sidecar Bash. It's with the Auto 66 Club. It was a cracking meeting, and it was a proper eye-opener. It really was. And it just shows what these lads go through. Obviously, when you think, the driver's got it easy. He hasn't. All that pressure's on his knees, and it's all in the arms, and the passenger's just flopping around like a fish out of water, man. It's unreal. And I tell you what, if anyone offers you an opportunity, Chrissy, to drive or passenger, you better take it. It is absolutely brilliant. And obviously, I got to meet Kirk up there, old Ed Sheeran, and he let me kindly jump on at Croft with him, which was a British round. I think that was like 15 laps or something. I'll have to ring him up for the exact figures, but I think it was like, I'm trying to think what it was. I think it was like 16 laps or something. Well, you can imagine by lap 5, only ever doing it once, I was blowing out my bagpipe, and I was just like, well, you know how physical Croft is as a circuit. I was just absolutely hanging on for grim life at the end of it. But we finished like something like 15th, which was I'm over the moon with. And then I did a couple of rides after that with him when he was begging or putting his passengers in hospital. I've just remembered how I got the ride. A lovely northeast lad called Neil Bell. Michael actually ripped the bicep off his arm. Like off the bone, made a right mess of the poor lad. It was absolute mess. So
was that in the job description before you agreed to get on? previous person lost his bicep.
Borderline disabled, bless him. No, but that's how I got the opportunity to ride.
To be honest, I've always wondered. It's a bit of a conundrum about if you were to go in a sidecar, is it scarier being the passenger and not having much control over, like having the controls over the throttle and the brake? However, if things do go tits up, you can jump off, or being in control of the throttle and the brake. But if things go pear shaped, then you're snookered, really, aren't you? Because for those that don't know, with a sidecar, the driver lies pretty much horizontally, so you've got your throttle and your brakes exactly the same as on a bike.
I found out, the brake lever.
Aye.
That's only for the back brake.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The pedal on the floor, like that, the pedal they hit by the feet, that's for all 3 wheels.
Right.
So it's like,
I didn't know that.
Like, how like a back brake on a Superbike or whatever, that's like, it's like nipples on men, isn't it? They're there for show, not really for use. You know what I mean? But no, that's like, I was the same as you. I'm thinking, bloody hell, everything's right up the front. But no, but what I've, like, obviously the couple of times I've done it, like the passenger, how he's tucked in, obviously he's getting out the wind and the slipstream and everything. but they're actually looking at their feet when they're going to hit the brake.
Bloody hell.
Because then they know to get out the bubble. It's incredible.
Another thing I've always wondered about, because I've never actually been on the back of a sidecar before, but people have said that the passenger is more important for turning has more of effect for turning the sidecar than the driver. Did you find that the more you were getting used to it and the more the more emphasis you were throwing your body from side to side, did you see a direct relation to how fast you were cornering?
Oh, definitely.
Like, did you feel like you were making a big impact on the back?
Oh, actually, the mad thing is, so you know, it's that trust situation. Now, obviously, with Kirkup, especially, it's once he feels like what the passenger knows what he's doing. Bear in mind, I've only done it once, but he was pushing more and more and more. But like, so when they're stepping through a corner, you're literally throwing your body weight onto the back of their back, and you're trying to make the thing turn. But when they're braking traction, you've actually got to roll your body weight back to get more grip on the back. So when it's squealing, you've actually got to totally adapt to what the bike's feeling. But so you can imagine, you're not exactly on the Bluetooth or the the old stringing cups going, could you slow down please, Michael? It's a bit aggressive. So
there is a massive, relationship between the driver and the passenger. Obviously, you look at the Birchells at the TT.
Oh my God.
They're watching them is like watching one person. They look like, what are those twins where they're separated at birth, where they're just
Siamese twins.
Yeah, they're like Siamese twins. It's as if is it Ben and Tom?
Ben and Tom
Tom's
Birchall.
the passenger, isn't he?
Tom is the we're going to get told off.
No,
yes,
Tom's the passenger. And if you watch him at the TT, he's totally tucked in, and I think he looks for road markings and stuff, and he just knows when to pop his head up, which is just, when you watch that, it is incredible to watch. But
when you look at the lap speeds, it's just mind blowing.
Aye. It's turned into a bit of a topic, hasn't it?
I know, yeah. Sorry. But bear in mind, we had that pre-recording. It's a caddy while. We'll have to leave the sidecar and we'll get on a guest. We'll have to get a guest.
Yeah. Funny you should mention that, but I've had a few tweets this week about getting a sidecar guest on. So if anyone knows a good guest and who's willing to come on, drop us a message.
I'm going to ring Ed Sheeran. There'll be
we'll
lots of swearing for the swear jar.
What's the crack? I'm looking across and I can see that you've got a medical strap on your wrist. What's the crack there then? Back in hospital?
Oh, back in hospital. No, it's obviously which episode was it?
First
no.
episode.
Was that the first episode? Missing Digits was the first episode.
Was I over 1,000 downloads now?
Dominic? You love a good fact, don't you? You love a good fact. Basically the little stump here. To be honest with you, because I can tell you, Chrissy, and no one else is listening to this really. It really did look like a butt plug, and I was fed up of it looking like a sexual aid. So I've been back in hospital to get that changed. But not all seriousness, had a little problem within it, and I couldn't shut my hand properly. And obviously, the lovely NHS there, someone that you can never ever upset. They've kindly operated on my hand to get it fit for the race and coming, which is great.
What's that? A couple of weeks off work then? A couple of weeks off graft.
Oh, what am I going to do with myself? What the hell am I going to? I'm hyperactive as it is. So what am I going to do for 2 weeks?
Hopefully we'll have some good stories this time next week for our section of what happened this week, Dom.
I've sat on my arse abusing drugs for painkillers. Nothing. I could talk about my hallucinations. That's about it, Chrissy.
But you've got some big news. I think it's getting announced the day that the podcast comes out. So we'll obviously put the podcast out after the announcement. But big news. Would you like to announce something special?
Well, I've got my bike sorted. I've got my bike sorted for next season, and I'm incredibly lucky to announce. You see, I'm that excited I can't even get my words out. I've been asked to race for the Davies Motorsport team. Now, that's a team I was very lucky to win and very, very grateful to win, the 350 Classic race. Now, to put it blunt, these lads built me the best bike in the paddock. And not only that, I got to work with a top team that got the bike handling for us. And obviously, come from a privateer background like yourself, you know what these little infrastructures take and you know what they can give you. You can really start moving up the ladder in that way. And obviously, the Classic TT, it gave me a big boost. And obviously, sat down with the lads and they said, look, we're thinking about doing this. And with the sheer amount of experience this team have got, you're talking 20 plus years of experience. And they've kindly given me the brand new ZX10-RR. And that's provided by the Belgrave company down in Sheffield. A lovely man called Adrian. He's a big bike fan, a big race fan, more importantly. And he's putting the bike up for the team, and we're going to run it and go make some damage this year. Not to the bike, obviously, but I'm talking about my results.
Well,
Wrong word in there.
I think I'll be speaking on behalf of all the listeners on the podcast and all the Dom Herbertson fans out there.
What,
And
me mother? if you're listening.
You know, that's we're all over the moon that you've got something sorted, and we're looking forward to seeing you out. So the Isle of Man TT, Ulster, Northwest.
Yep, all the internationals.
Brilliant. And to get your signatures sorted, are you looking at some short circuit racing or a bit of club racing or whatever?
Yeah, so the idea is we're going to go attack the Thunder Sport, because obviously the team are heavily involved with motorcycle racing in general. They've got commitments outside of the direct Davies Motorsport teams, such as the BSB and other such events. So the idea is we're going to get the signatures, try and get as much testing in. Obviously, it's a brand new bike with brand new parts and brand new shiny things, which I'm looking forward to getting going. I've also got a ZX600. Hopefully, I've got some news about a Super Twin, but fingers crossed, and beggars can't be choosers, can they? But
that's it,
really, really excited about next season. And obviously, I'm a finger lighter already, so I just need to work on that diet you've been talking about.
We're looking forward to seeing how that develops, and just over the moon that you've got a ride sorted, and looking forward to the season ahead. Hopefully we'll have plenty of crack over the year with the podcast each week. I'm sure there'll be lots of good stories to talk about, and really looking forward to seeing how things go.
I'm looking forward to seeing how this podcast goes, because we've got to and the fact is, well, obviously when me and Chrissy get going, you know yourself, there is going to be changes, and we keep bringing it up, but obviously we're going to be committed to we are going to do what best we can throughout this season, but we're going to try and keep you all up to date. There'll be bigger gaps, obviously, the later into the season we go, but you'll be the first to hear it when it gets out there.
We'll aim for one a week, and if we're going to maybe get ahead and pre-record an episode, so
definitely.
That if we are busy with the racing commitments, then we can drop one in. So we'll aim for one a week and see how we get on. But just before we move on to our guest, we've had a few tweets today about Andre Iannone, MotoGP.
Is he that pretty boy?
He's good looking so he is.
I'm already jealous. That's why I'm calling him a pretty boy.
He's a bit of a poser. If you look on the old Instagram, you would think he's like what's them the blokes that go around like a topless waiter or something. He's a bit of
Butlers and above.
But that's the one.
I've never been. I make it sound like I've been to loads there, doesn't it? No.
He's the type of bloke that if he was made of chocolate, he would eat himself. He likes what he sees in the mirror. We'll put it that way. But obviously he doesn't like it that enough, because he's actually went in and tried to get some plastic surgery to get his jaw realigned.
You're joking.
So because I think girls like that type of thing, like the old jaw. Whatever.
That's him ringing you. That's his phone going off, people. That's his phone going off.
And he's actually missed the final day of testing for the MotoGP because he's having problems with his jaw. So from this cosmetic surgery, which is crazy, innit? You've got to think about your priorities.
What's your opinion on that? Because to me, that's
he's not a
It's not very.
It's not professional at all, and obviously he wouldn't have meant for it. But
that's it.
What's he doing getting jaw cosmetic surgery anyway? If for his.
We're going down the mental health route here, because at the end of the day, everyone's got insecurities and everything. Welcome to BBC 4. Tonight is about issues in not in yourself. Obviously, at the end of the day, like you say, he didn't mean for this to happen. It's obviously an infection, but what the hell's he doing to himself? But
but he's a good looking so anyway. So
what's he
doing? He's already like mega good looking with the Lamborghini and racing in MotoGP. I don't see why you would. Well, each to their own, like you say, each to their own. I'm not judging, but I'm not a fan of missing MotoGP testing.
Well, that's it. The thing is, though, because obviously we're such driven, passionate people, we wouldn't risk anything to not go racing. But obviously, the poor lad's obviously missed out on something that he wants to weirdly correct. But hey, it's one of those. But if I had plastic surgery, it's it wouldn't be on me face. Put it that way, Chrissy.
That was actually a question that we got asked. Someone tweeted in, if we were to have plastic surgery, you had to pick something. What would you pick?
Oh God, well, it would be a breast reduction.
Get rid of the old man boobs.
That's it. That's it. You know what I mean? Underneath this duvet is the beating heart of a mahogany god. It's just got this protective shield over it at the moment.
You've got the body of a god, Shaman's Buddha.
He's a relaxed lad. He's a relaxed lad. He's got a few statues as well. Can't knock him. What about you then? You're dodging.
For cosmetic surgery. I'm not a big fan, and I'm not saying there's I don't need it, because if you're being picky, but it's not me. Like, I am who I am, and I really I don't have an answer, because
get a finger removed. It's changed my life. It's great.
maybe get half me third finger chopped off, so we can be buddies, yeah. But anyway, let's introduce the guest. So one of the biggest rising stars. He's already sort of risen.
Rock star.
Yeah, he's a rock
star.
Massive. Brilliant to have such a great person and a big name as our first guest on the podcast.
And more importantly, we've discovered he's a mint character. He's got a proper good sense of humour, because obviously not everyone gets the North East humour, and he does. He's a top lad. Go on, Chrissy.
So, welcome to the podcast, Mr. Bradley Ray. So, we've got our first guest on the podcast today, and it's not the one and only Mr. Bradley Ray. How are you doing?
How you doing, mate? All right? All things good?
Yeah, all good, thank you.
Good.
You sound like you're eating there. What the hell are you eating?
I've just had a little bit pasta with tomato sauce, garlic bread, and a naughty bit of halloumi.
A naughty bit? Now, hold on. I know this is supposed to be a serious conversation on chasing the racing, but walk me through naughty halloumi.
Naughty? Do you know what I mean? Naughty, like nice.
No. Like, this is turning 50 Shades of Grey with chasing the racing here. Talk me through naughty halloumi here. Go for it.
No, naughty halloumi cheese. Do you know, like halloumi from Nando's?
I've never actually been in that. You've worked in Nando's, haven't you, Chrissy? I've never been to a Nando's.
No.
I used to work in Nando's for like 2 years when I was while I was at uni.
Yeah.
Good job.
I bet.
Anyway,
Good.
So back to the serious stuff on chasing the
free
race.
chicken.
So it's just over a week ago, you had your first go on a MotoGP bike over in Sepang.
Yeah.
So did it meet your expectations? What was the biggest shock? And how was it?
It was unbelievable, to be fair, mate, and it was it was something that I couldn't really compare to anything else, if I'm honest.
Did you have an erection?
That's a bit inappropriate, isn't it, mate?
It's chasing the racing, son. You realise it. Have you listened to the show? We can ask anything we want.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I wouldn't be able to walk onto the bike if someone said, "There you go, Dominic, there's a Suzuki MotoGP bike." I wouldn't be able to stand straight, son. So I don't know how you did the laps you did.
Just had to play it cool a little bit.
Can't do that.
No, it was unbelievable, mate, to be fair. It was just like something else. I mean, the whole bike, the electronics, the engine speed, the gearbox, everything like that was just completely different to what we're used to in superbikes.
How long did you get out on track on it?
I got two 15-minute stints on it, so not too bad. Obviously, I think it worked out about 12 or 13 laps, something like that.
And did you get down to some good lap times?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, you sort of you've only got a short time, and had to learn the track while I was there as well. So I've had to learn the track and just get used to the bike. But you obviously sitting on a MotoGP bike, you don't want to chuck it down the road, do you? So you just. You just take it a bit steady.
Oh, don't blame you. So here's a quick question for you, right? So obviously you're employed by Suzuki again for this year. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
So if they said, right, son, we've got a spare gap on this lovely MotoGP bike, would you drop your job as it is right now to go on that bike?
Yeah, I think it would depend on the situation at the time, but obviously I wouldn't say no to being able to do a round on the GP bike for sure.
Well, because you've done something similar, though, haven't you? You've gone from super sports as a privateer, and then they went, right, son, there you go. There's a fully fledged, full whiskey, no holds barred off your go superbike. You know what I mean?
Straight in, yeah. No, I mean, that weren't a bad step, but yeah, I mean, obviously, the step from that to GP is a little bit different. Obviously, the boys in the GP class are raw talent and bloody fast.
Yeah, so obviously one day, hopefully, I'd have the ambition to get there one day, and yeah, the way things are going, nobody would bet against that, definitely.
No, that's for sure.
So this season that's just gone, obviously it was your second full season in the Superbike class, and it obviously got off to an amazing start at the first round. Going into the first round, qualified 7th for your first race, and then you went out there and blew everyone away. in both the races. Did the double first meeting.
Outstanding.
Going into that first round, what were your sort of expectations for the season?
To be fair, obviously going into the first round, you just take it as it comes, and you get the first round under your belt, get it out of the way, and then start chipping away for the rest of the season. But yeah, I was never expecting to go into round one and come out with a double win. We sort of just went in with the attitude of securing a few top sixes and get the season rolling. But yeah, obviously we started off a lot better than what we thought.
Yeah, it was like a total dream opening round, really.
Yeah,
it must have just totally settled your mind. Going into the second round, you've obviously, you've come out, you've blown everyone away, and you just gone, I bet you were just standing a little bit taller, and you're a tall lad anyway. I bet you just had the shoulders rolled back, you know what I mean? Pretty girls under your arm, straight into the nightclub, no red tape. I'm the man.
Yeah, I wish, mate. I wish.
Oh, you did. Don't lie to us. No. You did. You blatantly felt like that, because I would have felt like that.
No, it's just one of them where you just you sort of doesn't sink in for quite a while, to be fair, and you just carry on.
So you had your first taste in World Superbikes this year at Donington Park. How did that weekend compare to a weekend at BSB?
It was quite chilled out. I mean, we went in there with obviously no pressure and just went there to enjoy ourselves and see where we're at and obviously get some more track time on the bike and things like that. So it was nice to go out and obviously ride at Donington in the World Superbikes, and it was nice to compare obviously to their championship and see where we're at. But to be honest, we just done it for extra mileage on the bike and extra track time.
No, but in saying that, you had a cracking qualifying. Where did you qualify in that?
Where did I qualify? I think 11th, 10th or 11th, I think it was.
Yeah, I mean, qualifying 11th out of, there must have been about 20, like a good 20 odd riders on the grid for your first attempt.
No, it's good because it was the first time on the qualifying tyre as well.
Yeah.
So obviously that was quite interesting to use.
Right. In what way though? What was different about that?
It's just like the grip on it was unbelievable, but obviously it only lasted for one lap. So you get your out lap and you get one flying lap, and then the tyre's done.
Never.
You have to make that lap count.
You're not kidding. What happens if you run on? That's an expensive weekend, isn't it?
Yeah,
If you totally cocked that up, it's like, I've used 3/4 of it, lads. What we're going to do for you?
Over. one lap under.
Have you got any ideas why Suzuki don't have a team in World Superbikes?
I'm not too sure. I think at the minute they're not 100% in committing into World Championship. I think they're fully focused on the MotoGP job at the minute, and that's what I think they're aiming for, to just do everything there.
I'm guessing that puts you at a little bit of a disadvantage compared to a lot of the other BSB teams that have World Superbike teams feeding information back. The likes of Kawasaki, Ducati, Yamaha, all feeding technical data back, where you don't really have that same support, do you?
Yeah, no, it's obviously quite difficult. Obviously, we have the Japanese Superbike they run. Suzuki's out there, but yeah, like you say, they're not running on the same tyres and same electronics as what we are. So it's quite difficult to compare and use it to improve our bike. Whereas obviously the Yamaha boys, Ducati and Kawasaki, they've all got them bikes in World Championship on Pirelli tyres.
Yeah, and as well as obviously you've the British Superbikes and the little bit of World Superbikes that you did last year. On top of that, you were flying in and out of Japan quite a bit, racing over in Suzuka. How was the racing the Yoshimi Eurobike over there? How did that compare to your BSB spec bike?
That's quite different, to be fair. Obviously, they're on Bridgestone tyres out there, fully electronics, and obviously just completely different sort of setup out there, and was learning the track and things like that. But it was an amazing experience, and to take part in obviously the 8-hour endurance race for the factory Suzuki team.
Did you do any nighttime riding then?
I did. I managed to finish 8 hours. So we started at sort of, I think it was 6:30 and went through till 7:30 and finished the race in the dark.
There we are. Then obviously down south you've got a lot more light pollution, so
that's it, mate.
First time you've ever seen the dark, is it?
Got me X-ray vision goggles on as well. I was well away, loving life.
Bloody hell, your Specsavers optician must love you, mind. You know,
yeah.
I've got this prescription. Can I have some night vision? You know, I borderline want to be Predator on the weekend.
Yeah. It was a bit difficult. It was worse for my glasses, to be fair, because you get all the glare off the lights. So it made it a little bit worse. I just had to ride with it. Obviously, I've been riding with glasses for years, so it's just normal to me.
My old man, God love him, he actually, at the tender age of 50 odd, he had laser eye surgery. Have you ever considered that, or is it kind of your thing?
My eyes are too bad.
Too bad? Really?
Yeah, my eyes are too bad. I've got astigmatism, so it's not possible to get the laser eye surgery done.
Oh, there we go then. There we go. I tell you, like, obviously my old man's done the TT and stuff like that, and there's pictures of him going down like Bray Hill, lifting the visor, pushing his glasses back onto his beak.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I could just see you hurtling round a corner again. Oh shit, they're sliding off the nose here and just lifting.
Well, I had a few problems this year. The hour stints, obviously the sweat on the goggles, on the old glasses, and they were sliding down my nose, and about 45 minutes in started steaming up a little bit. So I've managed to see my optician's eyesight down in Brighton to get some contact lenses made strong enough, so I can have a little go at contact lenses and see how I get on.
As long as you're allowed to blink, as long as they're not that thick, you can still blink.
They're like magnifying glasses, they are. Huge.
Chrissy, I've discovered why the lad's so quick. You can't see how he's
can't actually see, yeah.
That's it.
Brilliant.
Just flat shot by.
I've got a clue.
So looking ahead to the 2019 season, do you have any sort of expectations coming into the season? Or obviously you're a firm championship contender this year. Like, who do you see as your biggest rivals and etc.?
It's just so difficult to tell in BSB. I mean, you know what it's like, Chrissy. The top 10 are all rivals, aren't they, throughout the year? So I think there's going to be a few strong contenders. Obviously, Taz is going to be quick. I think O'Halloran's going to be quick this year, and obviously a few others are going to be fairly quick and always pushing at the front.
Yeah,
but
you've got a future in politics after this. You know what I mean? That was a very lovely political answer. That I could see him. Oh, it was good. Like, we're all equal here. We're all friends.
We are. Yeah.
Hold on.
For a little while.
For a little while till we get on track and you want to chew your mother's face off kind of job. But here's a very good question that the Rousseau's got written down. What's your opinion on Scott Redden? He's not going to listen to this show. You know, don't worry about it. You can slag him off to an inch of his life if you want. Go on.
I think he's all right, mate, to be fair. I think he's a bit wild. He's a bit wild and needs reining in, but I think he's going to be good for the British Championship and good for the British fans. And to be honest, I think he's going to have an eye opener when he comes over here and rides a superbike on the British tracks. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I heard a rumour this week that he's just broke his femur on a pit bike this week. Do you know anything about that?
I didn't know. No.
Yeah, I think.
So you know that contender he was talking about before. You're -1 now, so you've got 9 to worry about.
9, yeah, that's not too bad then.
I haven't seen it in any of the main press, like the press outlets or anything. So I don't know if it's true or not. But I heard that he's had a crash on a pit bike and that he's broke his femur and got loads of ligament damage and stuff. So
oh dear, that's not good. That ain't a good start to the year, is it?
Yeah.
He's obviously trying to keep it a bit quiet.
Yeah, obviously.
Then came along a Geordie called Rousseau.
Yeah.
He was in the hedge with his binoculars.
Loving it.
What do you do for your fitness throughout the off season? Obviously, like, I follow you on Instagram, so I see you're at. Is it SPY Fitness?
Yeah, Sam Yassin. SYPC. He does all my programs, and I go and see him sort of once a week and get some sessions in. He just keeps on top of my fitness and sort of sends me programs of what to do in the week.
There's quite a few BSB lads trained down there, isn't there?
Yeah, quite a few. I mean, Lee Jackson goes down there, and Ryan Vickers, Ben Curry, sort of people go down there, and it's quite good because he sort of tailors your work to what you're struggling with. So obviously, there's a few areas I thought I was struggling with this year, and we're attacking them the best we can this off season.
Oh, smashing! And is there a good bit of healthy rivalry within the gym?
Yeah, no, it's good. We sort of all challenge each other. We have sort of the times written up in places, and we always try and beat each other's times. So there's always rivalry going on.
Ripping biceps off, doing the benches like that. Just,
Oh, we don't go near any of them, mate. We can't lift them.
Can you not?
No,
Yeah,
not a
hold on.
chance.
Yeah, you can chuck round a 220, like it's like a fat lass on menopause. What you're doing, you know what I mean? It's just going to be a handful. So...
Yeah.
Oh, good lad.
Outside of the gym, do you do much like pit bike and motocross, that type of thing?
Yeah, I try to do as much pit biking as I can. Obviously, in the season, it's a bit busy, but
not anymore. Scott
motocross
Redden's
is a
good
no-go.
filling.
Yeah, that'd
He's
be
like,
banned. Motocross is banned for me.
Really?
In season, yeah.
In season, but off season.
In season, yeah, off season's fine, yeah.
Right, got you.
But
did you get a chance to look at the BSB odds? Know how there's a gambling company covering the championship this year. Did you see all the odds, and like do you think that you're well priced at 6-1, or have you got your mates all putting a tenner on?
Oh, I don't know. 6-1's not too bad, I suppose. To be fair, I think when I started this year, I think I was like 80-1 when I started this year. So it's come down a fair chunk.
I think our mate Charlie King had like a tenner on you from
did he?
From the beginning of the season, and then obviously you went out and did the double. Yeah, you went out and did the double, and then you did. I think Alton Park, you were right up there the next one, and then Brands, and you were still like leading the championship or right at the front, and he was laughing because he was
I bet he was loving it.
Quid in or something. Yeah,
quids in.
Quids in. That's it. Retirement plan sorted for him. There you go.
But speaking of, I seen on Twitter the other day a young lad, Rory Skinner, who's been through quite a similar route to what you did, like through the Spanish. Obviously, it was 125s when you were there, Moto 3, and then
you did the Red Bull Rookies, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I've done that for 3 years. I started that in 2012, and done that until 2014.
For 3 years, all right.
3 years, yeah.
I remember you, and am I right in saying that you were the first person to win the first competitive race at the Circuit of America?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was in the start of 2013. That was. Yeah. We went out to there and done the first race in America.
Because I remember
quite amazing.
The Bike Sport News or MCN or something did a piece on you that year, and it was like out of the 52 weekends in the year, you'd raced something like 38 or something.
Yeah, I was flat out that year. I think I've done the Red Bull Rookies, the Spanish Championship, and BSB as well.
Jesus
Christ.
So speaking of Rory Skinner, obviously the news recently has been that after winning the British Talent Cup this year, he hasn't got a ride. I think he was hoping to go Spanish Moto 3 or MotoGP or whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a lot of people will be listening, and they probably won't understand the money that's involved in coming through the grassroots, and like how much sacrifice that like you and your family and your sponsors have been through to get to where where you are now. Just to give the listeners a rough idea, what sort of money's involved in sort of do you know if you were going to pay for like a Moto 3 ride in Spain, what type of figures are the teams asking for?
I think if you're just going to go to Spanish Championship for a year on a Moto 3 on one of the top 3 teams, I think you're sort of looking around 250,000 euros. I think 250,000 euros for the year to run in a team in Spanish Championship.
And that's for 7 rounds, isn't it?
For 7 rounds, yeah. I think it works 7 rounds. I think there's I think 14 or 15 races throughout the year.
Shit. Yeah, it's incredibly expensive.
Bonkers, yeah, absolutely bonkers.
And because I think a lot of people probably don't actually realize the money that's involved in it, at that certain level. And when you look at that, and then you think of something like British Supersport, which you can do a full season for around 60,000 ish.
Hold on. That's still a lot of money, mind.
But in comparison, yeah, you can understand why Rory's looking at doing British Supersport. And I see he's got a GoFundMe page, and a lot of people are getting behind him because he's a massive talent. He's he did really well in all the championships he's been in, really, and obviously won the British Talent Cup this year. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on against the more established riders like Jack Kennedy and Alistair Seeley. And obviously also there's a lot more Moto 2 riders in the championship this year. So I think Supersport will be quite interesting to watch. Who's your money on for the championship?
Well, it's good. I'd have to say Jack again. I mean, was outstanding this year. I mean, he was just that one step ahead of everyone else this year. I think he's obviously staying with the same team, same bike. So
I say he hasn't moved up. Now,
no,
obviously,
I mean, yeah.
Do you know Jack? Do you know Jack really well, or
not really well? I know him. Yeah, I do speak to him a little bit. Yeah.
So if you say you knew him for years and stuff like that, right? And you went up to Jack, and what advice would you give him? Would you would you bluntly say to him, stay where you are, keep doing what you're doing, or would you actually go to him and go, hey, you've done this well in this class, why don't you move up? Why don't you come to super stock or superbike?
I think that's what his aim was the end of this year, to be fair. I think he wanted to make the move up into superbike again, because he's been in superbike already with WD-40.
Oh, right.
And then he obviously went into world. He's been in World Championship as well. And I think the right ride wasn't there at the end of this year, so he thought, why not to stay in the same team in Supersport again for another year.
Yeah, I think that was the case where there was no sort of good rides available. So yeah, exactly. He's happy where he is.
That's it. He's happy with the team and the bike, and he knows he can go out and win. So it's always good to be winning, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the listeners will be interested in sort of what a day to day, like what you do day to day in between the racing. How do you sort of fill your time, sort of Monday to Friday and through the off season?
Through the off-season,
eating halloumi cheese and
halloumi cheese, love it. Over Nando's every now and again. Just the normal stuff, really. Obviously in the gym when we need to be, training throughout the week. And then a bit of motocross, pit biking, things like that. And just letting your hair down a little bit, having a bit of time off from the racing, chilling out a bit.
No wild parties or anything? I thought you Southerners could do it better than us Northern folk.
Oh, we can have a good party. Don't worry about that.
Really?
10 times better than you Northerners, that's for sure.
Right, there's a challenge, mind. Now we're all competitive, right? But let's raise a glass to that one, mind. Let's meet in the middle.
Let's get one organised. End of this year, we'll all have a little party. Northerners against Southerners.
I tell you, there you are. My shoulders are back. I'm not a very confident person, but I'm well up for that, young'un. I'm well up for that. So hold on.
Go.
On the quick conversation of parties, have you got any party tricks? Can you lick your own eyeball, or
lick my own eyeball?
Can you do like splits or something stupid like that?
You're gonna have to wait for it. Can't say what it is. You have to wait for it. It's a weapon.
Last year, I seen you over at the Isle of Man TT helping Tom Whedon. Will you be going back out to the Isle of Man TT this year?
I might venture out. I see what it's like. Obviously, I've got the hopefully we're doing the ATAR again this year. So it all depends with what happens. I might go out there for a few days again and have a watch.
Did you get, obviously when I seen you were in pit lane, did you get round the island to watch at any of the other places?
I only watched it a few places. I couldn't really tell you the names, to be fair.
Well, they have done it.
I wouldn't know, but yeah, obviously I had a little watch around, but I just stayed in pit lane a bit and helped Tom out.
Well, right, sorry, last year's, he's still your teammate, isn't he? Richard Cooper, but he's doing the Stock 1000 this year. Now, obviously he's coming over to the Northwest 200. Now, could you see yourself doing a little bit of road race in the future, or is it nothing that takes your fancy? What's your opinion on it?
Nothing that tickles my fancy at the minute, to be fair.
Fair enough. You know what I mean?
I've never really thought about it, and I think if you're going to do it, you need to want to do it.
I tell you what, I couldn't
to do it.
That's it. I couldn't agree with you more, mind. It's something that you shouldn't be doing half-hearted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or for the wrong reasons.
Exactly. That's exactly it. There you go. I tell you what, for a Southerner, I'm liking your mind.
And when's your first official test with your team for this year?
The first test is March 12th in Monte Blanco. So we're out there for 3 days, and then 2 days off, and then straight to Portimao for another 2-day test.
Oh, fantastic! I bet you're probably looking forward to getting back.
Oh yeah, it's been a long old winter, because normally obviously we're out riding in January time, aren't we? We're getting a bit of testing in, but we got a testing ban this year.
Yeah, we actually mentioned this on the podcast last time, but to be honest, I didn't really do my homework and I don't know the details. Am I right in saying that? So Stuart Higgs has put a testing ban on super bikes, but you can still test super stock bikes.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so we can still go out and ride just like a stock bike, but not allowed to ride our actual super bikes.
Oh, very good. So then you've got the 2 Spanish tests, and then I take it you're back for BSB test at Silverstone.
Yeah, that's it. Back for that one.
And then
so
straight
I can
into
do the test and then straight into the season.
Smashing.
Get
And
the
then
ball rolling.
Good. And so you've got the full BSB lined up for this year, and hopefully Suzuka. Have you got anything else in the pipeline?
I think that's it for this year. I mean, we just concentrate, get our head down at BSB, and yeah, hopefully do the 8 hour again. But it all depends on what sort of date that is this year, and if it clashes with any BSB or anything.
Good.
But I think we just got to knuckle down and put in a big year this year in BSB.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I mean, with Leon Haslam moving on, Jake Dixon going to Moto2, they're 2 of your very strong contenders from last year out of the picture. So this could be like a fantastic opportunity for you. Speaking of Jake Dixon, obviously you've had a little bit of taste on a Moto2 bike at Silverstone. How do you think Jake's going to do fair in the World Championship this year?
I think with the right team and the right setup, I think he can surprise a few people. He's quite a determined bloke, and I think gets his head down and works hard, learns the tracks and learns the bike. I think he'll do quite well, and I think it's the best time to move into Moto2 is with the new Triumph, with the new bikes, etc. So I think it's probably the best time to go into it.
It'll be great to have another Brit out there as well, isn't it? You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
definitely representing all that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be done, isn't it?
Got to be done. But we'll see you there soon.
And he's a Southerner, so it couldn't be any better, could it?
Oh, that's it. The more I'm speaking here, the more I'm starting to like you lot. So in another 10 minutes, I'll end up moving all the way down to Liverpool or somewhere.
London.
You know, somewhere really down south for me. All the way down south. You know, I'll get a nosebleed down there.
Jesus.
But too crowded for me. We've just got nothing but fresh air and trees here, mate.
I bet,
it's great.
I bet, yeah.
Just a quick question. So before we finish, I mentioned to a few people that we're going to be interviewing you on the podcast this week, and a sort of common question that people have been asking is: so after such a successful start to the season last year, there was like a few rounds where things just seemed to tail off a little bit, and then your form suddenly came back on when you took pole position at Cadwell Park. And there was a lot of like speculation in the press about front end issues and things like that. Did you manage to get those sorted? And was it just a front end issue? And like, what's the crack there?
I think we just lost our way a little bit through mid-season. We just lost a bit of feeling with the bike, and we started changing things and sort of going in the wrong direction. We was just working so hard to try and get the bike to work well. We end up sort of moving away from a good setup, which what we had at round one sort of thing, and we just lost our way a little bit with the bike, and it's like Chrissy when the confidence goes down.
It's
difficult,
especially when it's so competitive and so close.
That's it.
You're just a smidgen off, and you're right down the order.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, a few rounds we was running around 10th, 12th, but it was only sort of a second off, so we weren't far off, but we just lost our way.
The important thing is you brought it back again, though. You know what I mean? Like you say, coming, you'll be able to attack it in full force again.
That's it. I mean, we learned a massive amount this year. The team learned a lot. I learned like myself of how to deal with things a bit better, and I think we can go into this season a lot stronger and hopefully be a lot more consistent.
Good man.
A question's just popped into my head there actually about. So do you know when you were in British Supersport? And you were sort of running a privateer entry, and like about halfway through the season, so you'd been running sort of around, was it sort of 10th-ish position initially,
which is brilliant. Which is brilliant.
And then all of a sudden, it seemed to go from that, and within a click of the fingers, it seemed that you went from there to breaking lap records, battling right at the front, winning races. And you see a lot of people like throughout the ranks that might have done really well early on or won championships on, like, say, the 125s or whatever, and then you look at, and they'll be like sort of mid-pack in Supersport or Superstock, and then all of a sudden you turned it around and started winning lap records and then moved up to Superbikes, and it's all like history from then. What do you think? What was that? That change? how did it go from being sort of mediocre to being right at the front braking lap?
I think at the start of the year we had a real shit bike. We just brought a like a standard Yamaha, and by round 3 we went out and brought a brand new R6. I think the 16 model at the time, and then just as you thought, gained load of confidence and just found that sweet spot, that sweet setting, and didn't even change it all year.
See, that is brilliant, because I'm going to be very honest with you. You know, I should follow the BSB a lot harder, but that's where you really stood out to me. Like I say, it was last 3 rounds, and it was just like you were the talking piece of the paddock, to put it blunt. You know what I mean? It's like, who the hell's this privateer with the world's most fantastic haircut? And it's just like, where's he come from? And it's great, and it would be just the amount of people out there want to replicate that is unbelievable. And I'm one of them, to be fair. I would love to be able to just get the confidence out overnight. You know, it was brilliant, and I'm a big fan because of it.
It's just one of them feelings and one of them years that just everything clicked and worked really well.
Obviously it's very admirable, and it's a good sort of token of your personality, because you see a lot of these lads that find themselves in that position, and the crack under the pressure, and then they end up tailing off and out of the sport. But to have that self-belief and the confidence when things weren't going right and you were finding it difficult, to keep chipping away and just building your confidence, and then to come back to where you are now, it's really impressive. So brilliant. Well, before we wrap up, for people listening, obviously there's a lot of merchandise going around the BSV paddock these days with big Bradley Ray faces with the hair. Where's the best place for, if there's fans out there that are listening, where's the best place to purchase your merchandise?
Best place is Clinton's Enterprise.
So that's the website.
Yeah, it's the Clinton Enterprises website. They got all of it on there, and they go to every BSB round. I think they even go to World Superbikes and MotoGP as well. They're the massive tents full of all the team's clothing. It's all always in there on sale.
Smashing. And and you're on like Twitter and Instagram. Is it just at Bradley Ray Racing?
Yeah, the Twitter's at Brad Ray Racing, and then Instagram's Brad Ray 28, I think. So yeah, have a little mooch up on there. Yeah,
well, I've got to say, huge thanks for coming on the podcast. Obviously, our first guest, and it's you've set the bar quite high. All what's left to say is just the very best of luck for this season.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, whether it's BSB or Suzuka and
MotoGP, the way it's going.
But just very best of luck, and thanks again for your time.
No worries, Chrissy. Spot on.
Superstar. Cheers, mate.
Enjoy the rest of your garlic bread and your Naughty Halloumi.
Smashed it all.
That's on the next T-shirt, I'm telling you.
Love it. A little bit naughty.
Smashing, mate. Cheers. See you later.
Lovely. Cheers, Chrissy. Speak to you soon, mate.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da. Bye-bye.
So that's our first guest on the show, and brilliant interview, really good insight into Brad's life and what he's up to this year.
Proper naughty lad. Naughty.
That word. And personally, I think he'll do a cracking job this year in the BSB. He's if he rides anything like how he started the previous season, I think the opposition of be doing well to keep
without a doubt. And I tell you what, I didn't mention this to him, but I watched his documentary. Obviously, it was a homemade documentary, and I tell you what, a humble lad. Obviously, he's a confident young man. He's got the talent, but he's not sitting there going, "I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that." It's really refreshing, like you say, to have those people within the paddock, and not just on the track, off the track. He's got a future, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, he's very down to earth, and I think that that comes across very plain and simple to the fans, and I think people respect that and like that.
Aye.
And I've known Brad since my very first year road racing it was like on go-kart tracks, tarmac tracks.
Aye.
It was back in 2009. And funnily enough, I've got loads, because my dad used to film everything, so I've got loads and loads of videos of Brad racing that he's probably never seen.
He's like an Indiana Jones. He's like he
used to be tiny people used to say he looked like the Milky Bar kid. He was like, do you know off the Milky Bar advert?
He's got a tattoo of that, hasn't he?
Oh, is he? I think
we should have asked him all these opportunities.
But then he just shot up and he got this big hairstyle. But yeah, I've seen him go right through the ranks, and some years, because when he was very young, he was a bit like a protege. He was winning everything at a very young age, and he's sort of big enough to be the next big thing. And then he's had his ups and downs in his career, like most people coming through. And one thing that's unique to a very small number of riders in the BSB paddock and just around is there's a small number of riders that have went through that cycle of like good times and bad times and remained the same person, remained the same nice, genuine person. So many people, and I think a lot of people listening to this will know, probably even just from club racing or whatever, when people get success, it's very easy for people to change and start thinking they're above the station.
Yeah.
And you see it all the time, and there's very few people that remain that nice,
that humble,
genuine,
constant,
humble person.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if they're winning or if they're mid-pack, they're still that same person. And I think that's really important. Brad's one that springs to mind. Another one is...
Well, that goes off that conversation. I feel like I've known him for years now, actually, after that.
That's
you know what I mean? Definitely.
Another one that
lad.
Springs to mind is Lee Jackson. I don't know if you know Lee Jackson.
Aye.
He's another lad that's... whether he's doing great on track, because he's had his times when he's been, doing fantastic. And then he's had times when things aren't,
ups and downs.
Yeah,
ups and downs.
tough times. But he's never changed, and it's a credit to the lads, and it's a credit to the family and people around them that they brought them up in that way, because it is a special quality.
Definitely, and what we're looking for there, it's like people have just got a good, strong character, and that's very much those lads you've described, and very much Bradley Ray. Mm-hmm. So honestly, Chrissy, thanks for getting him on the show. Obviously, he's your mate. I've never spoken to him, but it was great to have a chat with him. And hey, if you're listening to this, Brad, obviously you are. Thank you for being on.
Yeah, thanks. I'll just echo that. Thanks very much. And just before we end, I would just like to say a quick get well soon really message. My granddad had a stroke last week. And I'd just like to say, you'll be listening to the podcast, he's subscribed, so you'll get the message through on his phone. And I just wanted to say that I'm thinking about you, and I really hope you're okay. And I'll be down in hospital to see you soon. So best wishes. And for the next podcast, we're looking to have another Marshall on.
Marshall of the pod.
So number two, aye.
Number three.
People on Twitter, if you get on, and if you know anybody, any marshals, any special people within the marshalling world, then
bit of crack, bit of story about.
Tweet us some suggestions. We'll pick one, and we'll sort it up with the Skype and get them on for next week.
Definitely, aye.
But that's all I've got to say. So have a fantastic week sitting around the house, not doing much.
Oh, I will see how long that lasts. We'll see how long that lasts.
And thanks very much, Dom, and all the best. I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, Chrissy, lad. See you in a bit.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.